All right. I'm Carrie from Oregon.
And I'm Regina from Atlanta, and we are
Wine Sisters
One
of the
Sisters of the Vine.
Cheers for
It's
change.
I'm so excited tonight. This is great.
I'm excited too, and I'm standing here in Dundee Wine Library. Look at the books back here.
It is
That's the name.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
It looks so pretty back there.
I know, and this is a collection that Henry and Araminta Miller, the owners of our winery, have, and it really kind of sets the tone for our whole literary library theme, and it's always fun at the library. More fun at the wine library.
Yeah, much more fun at the wine library. I wish I was there with you.
Right, me too. How was your week? How was your day?
It's been a challenging week, but I am here, and this washes away any challenge that I've had this week, and I'm just happy to see you. I know you guys have been through some fires, literally, and to have you on tonight is a great thing. So I'm glad you guys have come away, I wouldn't say unscathed, but just happy to see your faces here.
Yes, and we are happy to see you as well. And remarkably, we are about to pull in some beautiful fruit. And really, our grapes are unscathed, which is quite a miracle. And we just feel really grateful that we're going to have this wonderful harvest starting tomorrow, right, Thibaut?
Yeah, hello everybody.
Yeah.
I didn't prepare and introduce myself, but yes, no, I'm happy to be here, and tomorrow we'll be having our first grapes in for reds. We actually got a little bit 2 weeks ago for a small Blanc de Noir, maybe some sparkling project in the future, but it's a very, very minimum quantity we got 2 weeks ago. It was a little bit under 2 tons. And tomorrow we are going to start with our first vineyard. It's going to be the Luciole, Chelem Mountains, so about 5 to 6 tons of fruit. So it's exciting.
So excited about that.
That's incredible.
Cannot wait. So with that in mind, Leslie, you want to introduce yourself and tell us a sentence or two about your background, and what do you love most about what you do in the distribution? Introducing Leslie.
Well, I'm Leslie Maske with the Ultimate Distributors here in Atlanta, Georgia.
So great to be here. Thank you, Leslie.
You guys heard me say this. I've been in the alcohol, wine, spirit industry since I was born.
Love it.
It's a great industry. It's a wonderful job. I'm very blessed to meet wonderful people, travel, go to some wineries, hear stories, share those stories, help find wines to sell in the Atlanta market, because we're a pretty boutique kind of book.
Yes.
Handcrafted. I saw that on there.
Yes.
So this has really been a career for you.
Yes, it has been. It's not, we were joking around how you go to college and you think you're going to do something, and then boom, you're in a completely different area that you weren't planning. And this is actually kind of what happened.
Yeah. But that you love.
Oh yeah, I do love it. It's been, like I said, it's been a blessing. I even have a brother that's in the industry too. We just love it. It's just, there's lots of great memories. Like I said, you get to try a lot of great wines. So yeah, like I said, it's a dream job. It really is.
Yeah. Well, that's so great. And there's still a lot of movement and things going on in the marketplace despite this crazy year, seems like.
Yes. It's been, as you know, it's been like a bit of a struggle, like with everybody. But restaurants have had the toughest, but retail is kind of keeping everybody sane here in Georgia, and keeping the lights on. So we are definitely very blessed.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us today, Leslie. I appreciate it. I know you guys are 3 hours into your evening. So.
Yeah, Leslie is, I have to say, she's very modest about her knowledge and just being a super partner.
I bet.
From the day we opened, Leslie has been just a great partner, and she is so patient. We have the wine festival and the wine dinner, and she has been a part of every single thing that Courts and Cuvée has been a part of. So she is more than a distributor to me. She is like my partner, and she is a partner in, she almost like she's invested in seeing Courts and Cuvée do well, and she takes full ownership of everything. I've never seen it. She's tireless in her attempt to blush. But I have to say this because it really has made my life as, you know, an entrepreneur, opening a shop in the middle of a town that didn't have anything.
A liquor store that wasn't really
Yeah,
cutting it, right?
we have liquor stores that have, one liquor store has a great wine selection. So Leslie, me being a small shop, came in and was just ready to go. And so I have to thank her for that. I have to thank her publicly every time I get a chance to.
I love that support. That is,
Yeah, she's been a true gem.
Wow. Well, I think that's our first cheers. Here's to community support. Regina and I really, really love that. So,
Yes.
yeah. Cheers to you. Cheers.
All right, guys.
So you have some questions for the team DWL, Regina?
I do. So how has working through this pandemic been for you guys? You know, honestly, I know you guys have gone through a lot, the pandemic and the fires. How has this impacted you guys out there in Oregon?
I think actually, in some ways, it's been good for us.
Mm-hmm.
Our little wine library is off the beaten track, so we don't have the pleasure of having people drive by and drop in.
Mm-hmm.
They have to really know where we are to find us. And also because of our permit, we can only do by appointment.
Okay.
And because of pandemic, everybody has to be by appointment.
Yeah.
Social distancing and masks, and you can only have so many people. So in some ways, that's kind of helped us because we've had initially, I think around Memorial Day, we were quite busy, and we're starting to get known because we haven't been around that long.
Okay. So how did you guys get started? Like, what's your background? Were you just born with a wine glass in your mouth, or what?
We did not mean to go into the wine industry. We were just looking for a little cabin in the woods with a view in wine country so we could retire and downsize. And we looked for a place for 3 years and couldn't find anything. And then we stumbled on this place that right before it went on the market. It has this large 2-story house, this big, huge shell of a building that looked like a warehouse, and another building that looked like the previous owner was trying to make itinerant housing for his workers.
Or meth.
Make 6 little apartments in it. Well, he lost it to foreclosure, destroyed the inner workings of that building, ripped out the sheetrock and the plumbing, electrical. The big building, I was going to make into a basketball court, use it for exercising. And then one day, we've been, buying wine and belonging to wine clubs for decades. And one of our friends, Jesus Guillen, who was an up-and-coming winemaker in the area, was delivering our futures one day, and he points to my basketball court and said, "I can make wine in there." And he was an up-and-coming 38-year-old winemaker. He was actually written up in Wine Enthusiast April of 2018.
One of the first Latino winemakers, self-taught.
The magazine article was the top 40 winemakers under 40 years old. And he was the poster boy for that article.
Wow.
And then during the 18 harvest 2 years ago, unfortunately, he died. And the 18 vintage, which you're going to be drinking, was made by him, essentially, from his hospital bed. And the community of volunteers and family members who did all the sorting and the getting it into barrel. And then we met Thibaut, who took over and became the foster winemaker. Thibaut does not want to claim ownership of those wines, even though I think he's probably the reason why they're so good, because he wants to start out in the vineyard. And that's where his winemaking starts, is from the very beginning of bud break and on, and watching, because we purchase fruit from several sources, and we do it by the acres so we can have control over it. And so that's how we got into the wine industry. And
Yeah.
now all of a sudden we have several thousand cases to sell, and have got steeped into the industry.
Yeah, I think one of the things that has made a very bad situation tolerable was that we were fortunate enough to be able to hire Thibaut, and that he is the most collaborative winemaker I've ever worked with. And he's just, we sit down, we problem solve together, everybody from the people that we source from to other interested parties, including our field workers, are kind of involved, and there's such a deep respect for what they add to that bottle of wine. And it's because of him.
And he whistles while he works, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yay.
Well, with that in mind, let's taste some Peyton's Place.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Let me grab it.
Okay.
So
So
our wines are named, they are literary. And you folks are too young probably to know Peyton's Place, but it was a,
Oh, I know Peyton's Place.
oh, you know, okay, so.
For sure, I know Peyton's Place.
I ate well.
Book and movie, but our granddaughter's name is Peyton. And so because it's pink and that was our favorite color, and we have a dedication and a growth chart basically of what we've learned on the back of each one of our wines. We have several wines. We do have the protagonist, which is our hero, and the antagonist, and then we have a publisher and a pugilist. We always have a fighter in every good book. So
Yes.
that's our theme, and we either quote something meaningful each year, or talk about the year and how it's affected us, and that has been very well received. Ruth Bader got a call out this year.
Wow.
all right, let's drink this. Here's to Ruth.
Yes. Cheers.
Yeah.
Here.
Cheers. Oh, that is my favorite holiday wine. Rosé goes with everything. Turkey, you name it.
It's an all-year wine.
Right.
Well, just to talk about very briefly about the 2019, because actually I made it, all the process. My goal as well, back in the days, I was working for a much bigger company called Willackenzie Estate. So big winery, very nice, live certified, but slightly larger volume. And I always kind of was reluctant of doing some rosé on a bigger size winery, because you never know where the fruit comes from, what you do with your rosé, and sometimes I didn't feel like doing just an average rosé. So it doesn't matter if the wine is expensive or not, but I think rosé, like every type of wine, white or reds, needs to deserve the credit of, sourcing the grapes for selecting the certain quality style. If you're looking for a very fresh spring rosé with no color and not too much structure, but very easy to drink, it's maybe not the style, but it was made on purpose. I'm a big fan of Sancerre rosé from Pinot Noir, but also Tavel, mostly Grenache from south of France, and it's some rosé who can age actually beautifully. I'm not meaning that this rosé is meant to age forever, but it's not a rosé you should disregard after a few months because it stays on your shelf or you need to move to the next vintage. And that's why I'm a little bit sad and mad about people treating rosé just like an in-between wine.
Like a summer wine.
And to me, it's why I waited 20 years, to almost 20 years to do rosé for my own brand, Clos Griot, but also trying to make something for Dundee Wine Library was very distinctive. So 50% of those grapes were aged in neutral oak, 50% in stainless steel. It's also made a fully malolactic fermentation with unusual, but it's also bring stability, either color and mouthfeel, and a little bit more aging time, possibility of aging the wine. It's very lightly filtered, so it might have a little bit of sediment after a few years or few months, but you know, it's as close as a rosé I like to make, with spice, with floral notes, but with concentration, and also structured, and will actually maybe be better in few months. And the wine was aged on lees, and not unusual, but people do that as well for about 6 months. So really it's treating properly like I will do with my best white or my best red. It's not because it's rosé, then it needs to be speed up and release as early as possible and drink yesterday. And that's what we don't want to do.
Right.
Oh, cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Well done. Looking forward to more rosé in the future. And I love the color of this rosé too.
Yeah.
Delicious.
For me personally, it's all about the color, but you know, maybe that's my own.
People like lighter and very, really pinkish, very light pink rosé. I personally, and I'm not sure it's all the market that want, I usually like a slightly darker and richer color.
I
Again,
like that you
it's personal.
made it like similar to Sancerre, which I thought was, it is. It's really, we have a couple Sancerre rosés that we sell, and this is like that. I like that you use that comparison because it's very, very pretty.
You know, it's different, but it's also coming from Pinot Noir, and I love Pinot Noir from Sancerre. I mean, most of the people know Sancerre for their whites and the Sauvignon Blanc, but I think it's unique Sancerre to be able to blend Sauvignon Blanc with Pinot Noir, white and red, with basically mostly Bordeaux with Burgundy. And yes, it fits in between, so why not? But it's kind of fun. And the rosé are just, to me, very interesting. And they will tell you when you visit there, then, you know, the rosé is maybe better after a year or two. On the American market is a little bit odd because everybody wants to rush the rosé as fast as possible.
It's like a holiday here. It's like rosé all day, you know, so so people want to drink it right now, but I think that definitely it has some shelf life, and I do love it after, you know, sometime on the shelf and in the bottle.
And the market's getting better about it too. I think they're not just doing summer, it's expanding and going a little bit more year round, which is kind of nice. So.
It is.
Yeah, it's kind of the ubiquitous 24/7 wine. You know, and I think actually rosé after even a year or two, I like it even better sometimes because you really get the depth of character in the wine. So
I agree.
So Leslie, let's talk about what you feel is maybe your greatest achievement in your career thus far for bringing light to diversity issues from a distributor's perspective, like in the marketplace. Meeting people from all over the world, and your diverse book of people I noticed was really impressive. So I'll let you add some light on that.
It's when I was thinking about that, for me, it's probably being the longevity I've had in this market. And because when I got in this market, it's gotten better, but it's still been very male dominant. My first distributor job, we had 45 sales reps and there was only 2 girls.
You go, girl. Woohoo! I love it.
I have, through working very hard, building good relationships, and empowering through all this, I said, I'm glad to see more women. In fact, my company is woman owned, which is wonderful. Sue definitely is got both guns a-blazing, which I love about her. But I think, you know, not, you know, getting in there with the boys, pitching, you know, wine and spirits and things like that, and not backing down, and being here as long as I have. I mean, like I said, I kid around. I said, I really have been in the industry since I was 15, and then in distribution for over 20 now. And like when I started, wasn't a lot of female role models getting into this business. So,
but still she persisted.
But
Right.
still
Still
she
she persisted.
persisted.
Regina,
Yes.
I love that phrase.
We do.
That's
So,
impressive.
talking about Regina, I admire about Gina because the first time we met, she didn't say this, but I'm like, why'd you pick Conyers? Because there are no real fine wine shops in Conyers. It's a big package store with beer, vodka, 1.5s, things like that. But she has done an amazing job. There's people still going into Atlanta or coming to her for wine, which is really nice to see. And like I said, I know she has been persistent and nonstop, also working, building her niche, and it's been wonderful to watch her grow and be part of her journey. So I've enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Regina and I are constantly cheering each other because we have a mutual fan club. So I will totally agree.
I love my cheerleaders. Yay.
And with that in mind, you'll probably want to ask Team DWL another question.
Right. So I have that same question from being a vineyard owner and a wine brand owner. What would you say is your greatest achievement in the diversity and inclusiveness area?
Henry?
Uh-oh. I think we're losing.
Can
Henry?
you guys still hear me? I'm not sure.
I
It's
can hear
mine.
you. Can't hear.
Henry?
Henry? Can you hear us?
Can't hear you.
Henry?
Can you
Can you-
guys hear us? Yeah?
I can hear y'all.
No,
Yeah.
I can hear you guys, but I don't think they can. Maybe I can go.
That happens.
Hello?
It does happen to me on a regular. I'm surprised I'm still hanging in.
Let me go quickly check and ask the
That's the
Okay.
question.
wonderful thing about being
Yeah.
on site. Hey, you guys want to take a tour while he's going in there?
Yep, I absolutely do.
So I'm walking out the door right now, and here is our pink flamingo.
I love the
Nice.
pink.
Yeah.
I love the flamingo.
Henry is a totally great sport about doing videos with the pink flamingo. In fact, he has a whole flamingo family that, right? We like to keep it a little quirky here in Oregon. And so now I'm walking down to the winery right here. And I don't want to go too close because I'm going to get feedback. But I'm going to show you, there's our vista right there.
Look at that.
So that's Chehala Mountain.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's just
You.
the trees, and I mean, we're just really blessed to be in this amazing place with those.
And the fact that you can see the mountain today is great.
Yeah.
I know, and that's right, and the quality of our air at the moment is back to being wonderfully Oregon. So
Yeah, because I think the last time we were together, you couldn't even see the mountain from your backyard.
That's right.
It was all smoke. Mhm.
Well, the last week has been really stupendous weather, and that's good because we needed that kind of sunshine to get the bricks up.
Mhm.
And we finally are at, no pun intended, the sweet spot. So we're ready to go tomorrow, and we've had this week of sunshine and a huge rainstorm, because it's Oregon, of course,
Of course.
to really clean the air up. And the grapes they're beautiful. And, it's always that day, that celebration time of year when you get to move to finally get the fruit off the vine and chase the deer and the birds away. And,
Yeah.
we literally
But
have
they're
a
hungry
picture of
too.
a deer chasing right now in the vineyard because they like that fruit too.
It's
Right.
good stuff.
We bring a new name to natural.
Yeah.
So
Yes, you do.
yes, we do.
Regina, you'll have to show Carrie that label from Casa Rojo with the boar on it.
Yes, definitely. She will love this. Yes.
It's
love
a
it.
great picture, and you're like, would y'all come up with that? And they said no. It's an actual picture that they caught on a security camera stripping a row of vines in their vineyard. It was going in and just stripping all the Grenache grapes off of it. And
Yeah.
so he's no
It's
longer,
like it's a boar's head, like face forward.
but they honored him on a
It
Oh
was
my
label.
gosh, I love it.
it's a pet net, right? The
right.
sparkling pet net. And it's just this face like, I'm coming to get your grapes and I'm coming to get your wine.
I love it. I love it. Where's it from?
Spain.
Spain, yeah.
Spain.
They're
Oh, that's great.
properties, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, and you know, that kind of seems to be the name of the game these days. To survive, you kind of have to just have your own personality.
Yeah.
You know, mass
Mhm.
production just doesn't really cut it in some ways. And sometimes, you know, you have to have that kind of
Hey, can you guys hear us now? Can you?
I can hear all of you just fine.
Okay,
great.
perfect, great.
Never cut, I mean, I can never not hear you.
Oh, okay.
But we can hear you now.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I don't know what happened. It says
Question
mic is working.
what our greatest accomplishment was in diversity, and I don't think we've reached it yet. I think the best is yet to come. I think history and our future are going to demand that of all of us. But to date, I mean, when we decided to make wine, actually long before we decided to make wine, the thing that we did was we visited wineries in Oregon about every weekend. And in doing so, we fell in love and were inspired by the stories of people and their strengths, how they got through, because this industry is not an easy industry.
Still, they persisted.
Yes, they did.
All corners of the universe, and we hope that we support those individuals. We love it when we see female winemakers. Thibaut probably might be the greatest supporter of female winemakers. He always talks about, this winemaker is better than me. And some women that he is just really proud of that have done a good job in wine and kind of fought their way up in order to do that. But we have people of various heritages and so on as well, and we love supporting them, not because of who they are, but because of the job they do, and they have earned it. So I think we will consider, we will always be supportive of people just for the jobs that they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Wine Sister, do you want to take it away with, we're going to taste the antagonist and the protagonist?
Yeah, let's do that. So I just love the names. I just am in love with the names, and I'm in love with this label.
Isn't it beautiful?
These labels are fantastic. Who does that, by the way? Who designs that? I just had to ask.
Armenta did the designing of the labels. And
oh, this is fantastic.
The 18 protagonist is actually going to be a good representation of the whole area, because we have Dundee Hills AVA in that wine. We have the Chehalem Mountains AVA and the McMinnville AVA in that reserve blend that we call it. And so it's a good sampling, if you will, of the whole area. And I think it's tasted really well. I was very, very happy.
I love it.
Cheers to that. So
you generally leave wines lay down for 6 months after you bottle them for they can reintegrate due to bottle shock. But this particular one was tasting great right after bottling. I was quite surprised and happy with it.
It keeps
awesome.
better.
That is really good.
Just smell this, actually. This is it's really, really pretty. I'm like, ooh, I have to do that.
So what is a day in the life of, how do we get from, it's harvest right now to this lovely wine that we're drinking? What's a day in the life of this handcrafted wine?
Well, there's weeks or months of rapid activity and months of patience and waiting.
Yes, hurry up and wait.
Thibaut can probably answer the day in the life because he's the planner and he's really good at it.
Well, the goal is to try to be right on time, and it's very elusive because you can always wait or you can rush to pick very quickly, like some people did, according to the place where the grapes come from. We have a lot of variation between elevation and ripening. That's why you will hear some people soon, then they will be done and finished with harvest. And some of them, some of us, for example, haven't started. So there's not a lot of place, I will say, even in the world. You go to Burgundy, was much larger than the Willamette Valley, and some people start harvesting, and within 2 weeks, they are basically done. Maybe they start early with Chardonnay, but the Pinot Noir window is maybe 2 weeks. Our Pinot Noir window can be a month or a month and a half, which is just fascinating for me because we are such a small size, but we have such a great variation. Of vegetation, microclimate, sometimes it's pouring rain at Dundee Hills, and you go 10 miles away and you won't have a drop of water. And it's dry. So that's what makes the diversity and the quality of Oregon quite fascinating. I think it's a lot of work. It's true that for a month or two, we'll be really rushing and get crazy in the winery and in the vineyard to get the grapes in. Sometimes it's patience, it's true, and I think I'm getting better just because I'm getting older.
Aren't we all?
That will bring about some patience, that's for sure.
So, and that's just because you learn not to rush, not to oversee things, and maybe wait. After that, it's the process of fermentation and putting wine in barrel will take about a month after harvest to 8 weeks. And after that, it's just waiting for the wine to develop, to go through malolactic, and you start the process of thinking about bottling. If you decide to bottle before the next harvest, or you carry over, and it starts again. And I've done that for 20 years, and every year I wonder why I'm still in this business. And as soon as I start the harvest, I say, oh, I cannot do anything else.
And the pandemic doesn't make any difference. You still do the same winemaking process over and over.
Yeah, we have to be cautious. We also, with the fire, we had to be careful about, people working outside because it was pretty smoky and unhealthy for a few days. You make some choice. Waiting was a good one for us. I think we got quite a bit of rain to wash off a little bit of the ash and the smoke, and now we have wonderful days. And are we going to be impacted by that? We'll see. There's no way to know now. So we have to, like we do with the COVID, we have to resume business as usual and do our best. And we'll see at the end.
And it doesn't hurt that Thibaut has a PhD in organic chemistry.
Oh, okay.
Henry loves to brag about that.
That's amazing.
I know. We need to hang that on a frame on like the.
I was gonna say, can we put that up?
Right.
It does help when you have difficulties and you need to require a little bit science background to understand some phenomena. And I did it, but I have to say some of my best winemakers are not really technical, teaching or school, so you don't need that. But it does help me to troubleshoot sometimes and to understand better some things happening both in the vineyard and in the wine.
Yeah.
Thibaut and Henry are a good pair because Henry's profession, he's a forensic psychologist, and so he is innately committed to creating safety and reducing fear in people, whether it be fires or COVID or personal issues. And Thibaut is a planner and a science guy to the end, and so together they just kind of work some of the big stuff out. But it sounds like we're really heavy here, and in many ways we are, but they have a lot of fun, naughty fun sometimes. But they have a lot of fun. And during this a difficult time. We did some things very well. We think we made some very playful videos about, COVID and how we're going to take care of ourselves. Henry created a great model for how we were going to serve safely our people here. He
Mhm.
wore a hazmat suit and put big.
And we saw the pink flamingos outside, I think. We saw the
They're
pink
stars.
flamingo.
We made them stars. Yeah.
One of the videos was demonstrating the safety protocol with the flamingo family. And
I love it.
And the father was a half a gallon of grain alcohol with a baseball cap on it. And I said he was the designated driver because he was an alcoholic. Mama flamingo and the baby flamingo were visiting.
All in joke.
Yeah.
All in joke.
I love it. I love it. This is awesome.
So Leslie, what has been the biggest challenge during this crazy pandemic for you in the marketplace? And let's talk a little about your coping during COVID.
Well, it's interesting because basically everything kind of shut down. So like normally we have ride with during the year, suppliers or wineries come in the market. We take them out, show their wines, their vintages and things like that, new brands. None of that's happened this year. The other thing is also because of this, a lot of people weren't comfortable tasting wine.
Really?
Yeah. And so with restaurants shut down, because a lot of our restaurant industry shut down really quick.
Yeah.
We weren't going in and presenting stuff for the summer or even like going in the fall right now. So it's been a bit of a challenge. I would say in the past, also doing tastings, we make our bread and butter doing tasting events too for people launching new wines and things like that and brands. And we've done, like with Regina, I've done several virtual tastings this year, which has been a completely different way of presenting because you're used to being with consumers talking but you're doing it via Zoom, which has been fun because they've got their wine and it's like this chatting. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely been interesting. It's starting to quietly open back up. We have some people that are planning tasting events for the fall. Restaurants are slowly backing up. They're doing list changes.
Yeah.
But it's been kind of interesting. I mean, I just had one shop that's been basically it's a decent enough shop you can walk in, but they went ahead and had plexiglass put up at the front door, and you went to the door, rang the bell, you told them what you wanted, and they brought it. They just opened their store today, and they have been shut down since the very beginning. So it's been interesting navigating in the market for sure.
Yeah. And there again goes to the partnership that you have with Regina too. And you guys both stuck it out, even during the darkest times during the shutdown, you guys were still able to operate,
Yeah, we just had to pivot and kind of make, the tastings that we've done over the last couple of years online. So we are planning our prisoner tasting at the end of this month. And that's something everybody looks forward to coming into the shop because everybody loves these releases. And we had to pivot and make sure that we still offered tastings and connect to consumer opportunities for our distributors and winemakers, and so it's been different, but it's been well received because of where we are right now in the with the pandemic.
Yeah, because I think for the other thing that was for us, Regina can attest this, is normally August is when we kick off trade show season here in Georgia. Mm-hmm. And all the distributors have their events. And we always have the very first one. This is the first time, and I can't tell you how many years there isn't a holiday trade show getting your restaurants and retailers ready for,
holiday.
OND. But everyone's been, like I said, email's your friend, virtual tasting's your friend. Yeah. The people that are willing to see you, which and most customers have been really great. I mean, there's only a few customers I have left that I'm still doing anything via phone or text or online with them. So, but most everyone we're seeing on our regular routine, week, going in to see our buyers.
That's great. That's great. And you also have a book from all over the world. How many different countries does Ultimate have? A lot.
We keep adding.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Well, if you've ever met Sue Owens, who's my owner, she used to be one of the partners in Watershed, which is a restaurant here in Georgia. It's been very famous for a long time.
Yeah, I know the name.
Sue loves wine. She is probably one of the biggest cheerleaders I have ever known. Even I used to sell to her when I was with another company, and she was a buyer. And she's looking for that. Our book is 85% wine and then 15% craft spirits and a little bit of beer. But she's looking for that story, that unique. She's not looking for mass production wine. She's looking for small production wines with stories and things to share. And because she loves wine so much, she's always trying stuff. And that's what's so wonderful. She brings stuff to us in our sales. Well, when we could have sales meetings, she would bring all this wine would show up and we would taste as a group. And she's like, I'm really excited about this. Y'all are going to love it. Just her enthusiasm and her infectiousness, you're just like, this is great. I mean, it's fun when you can all get together, like this, tasting stuff and talking about it, what you like, it's just, it's a lot of fun. And our book reflects that.
Mm-hmm.
Usually we're really good about, if a brand gets to the point where they're getting really big and they want to go bigger, we go ahead and we'll release it if they want to jump dark and be everywhere, because we're not designed that way. That's not the way our company is made. So
right.
Nice.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like she's a great supporter of, just that handcrafted. I love that theme that you guys have too, handcrafted.
Yeah.
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 She's a real dynamo. I would love for you guys to meet, because she is like a bolt of energy. Is she not, Leslie? She's a bolt.
Well, we'll have to have her run through and meet the bolt.
She's actually down in Florida. I think she's down in Florida right now. So we're waiting for her to come back up. So, cause she's got her and her partner got a beach house down that way, and they're taking a little break. So
yeah. Well, yeah, I'm glad she's getting a break.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's exciting just to leave your house these days, even go.
I think people are so thirsty to leave, home, because we've cooked everything. At least I have. I don't have another recipe in me.
Yeah, Regina and I was like, what are you making?
Like, I don't know. My husband was like, can you go back to the meat and potatoes that you used to cook? I was like, okay, I'll go back to that, because I've literally tried every recipe I know, cooking from home and not eating out.
Right. And speaking of that, and all the wonderful pairings too of all of those wines, Leslie, I think you have some wine that you're going to talk about today, also from our little neck of the woods in Oregon.
Yeah, I am. Actually, the funny thing is this, you guys we're talking earlier, y'all know Kelly Fox.
Right.
This actually we just got some of her 18 Mirabi. This, again, talking about our company, Sue went out to Oregon and had Kelly's wines and was like, oh my gosh, we have to have these wines. And Kelly's like, I don't make enough to distribute. And she's like, I don't care. I got to have them. And I think she hounded Kelly for almost a year and a half, I believe. And then we got Kelly to come to Georgia last year. She flew in. She was like, she did the red eye in, and she worked the market with 2 of our sales reps to launch the brands and everything. And it was really great. We had a one-on-one meeting with her. We don't get tons. I mean, I'm sure you guys are familiar. She makes, less than a total of, I think, 3,000 cases of everything she does. A bulk of it's off the Marsh Vineyard. But we're just excited to represent her. So we just got her 2018 Mirabi in literally yesterday.
So where is that? So I know, Carrie, you live in the middle of a lot of vineyards. So how far is this place from you?
Well, ironically, I live across the street from the winery that we're standing in right now.
I love it.
So it's a wonderful commute to walk across the street.
Mm-hmm.
And the Kelly Fox Winery is in a place with a kind of a funny name, Gaston, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And Gaston, what would you say, Thibaut, like 20 miles?
Ironically enough, Kelly is a very good friend, and the last 2 years before, partnering with Dundee Wine Library in 17 and 18, I was actually making my wine with Kelly. So
Really?
Yeah. We collaborate here in Oregon.
Yeah.
I was with her sharing the same facility. In 17, we made the wine at Mesera Winery, the Montesi Vineyard. So I got fruit from my own brand, Montesi Vineyard, but also, so that's the place in 17, but in 18, and she's still making the wine over there. It's made in Gaston. It's a small place called Adia. Dean Fisher has been a winemaker for 30 or 40 years, almost. He was also a welder and a metal worker, and he's a great guy. And so she's sharing the place with him. And I moved from there from 18 to 19 to Dundee Wine Library after. So the specific wine you are tasting, I actually helped Kelly sorting and.
Oh, what a small world.
No, it's like,
Oh my God,
That's
that's
awesome.
crazy. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
I don't have any responsibility about it, but it was fun because we share the same place and the same equipment. So it was kind of, it's actually fun when you actually decided to taste the wine tonight. Because I've been knowing Kelly for about almost 20 years now.
wow. Wow.
How we roll in Oregon,
Yeah, that's how you roll.
Right. And we support each other. So that's, here's to that.
Well,
To support
cheers to that.
too in Georgia as well. Cheers. So Regina, you had a question for Team DWL about their typical day and from vineyard to bottle and crushing and all of that.
Yeah, so I think I alluded to that earlier, but so when you wake up in the morning and you have this plan and you have a planner and you have someone who is on the opposite side, so how do you manage through the whole day? So give me a day in the life of, like, from waking up. I don't know what time you guys get up, but from morning to night, like, what does that look like, a day in the life?
And he can,
With tortoises.
as a winemaker, I can answer as a winemaker. For example, I can give you what I plan to do tomorrow because it's the first day of harvest. Henry, do you want to answer the question first?
Well, my day is not necessarily full of winemaking. It's kind of hit and miss. I mean, for the weekends, I run the tasting room, and if we have any appointments, I take care of that. But I'm still working as a forensic psychologist, and that's what I do generally for the first half of every day is I'm either zooming into the jail or to child welfare and doing remote evaluations, or I'm sitting at the computer and writing reports.
That's unbelievable.
That's how we roll in Oregon.
I mean, like, that is incredible.
Can we have a session right now? No, I'm just kidding.
We have the library right here.
Yeah, exactly.
And Araminta works too. So you want to tell us about
Go
that
over
too?
and start washing wine glasses, getting ready for the next week.
Araminta, what about your day?
And he does check all the appointments. We often need to order some equipment, or we collaborated the night before, and we each take on something that needs to be done the next day.
They are also paying lots of bills and invoices.
Lots of meals.
Because we need, it's amazing how much you need, and I'm sure it's the same in the restaurant or distributors, because you also advance a lot of money, and it's the same here. Everything we pay now, we hope to get it back somehow by selling and things a year or two. So it's sometimes interesting with all the work Henry has to do with his practice, but also taking care of some of the daily routine of paying invoices, connecting with me, having emails from the growers say, should we do that or do that? We need to do tasting. Maybe that's in the normal year. Tomorrow, for example, I'm gonna wake up around 6:30. I'm gonna run to the place that we are going to harvest the grapes for. So to meet with the growers and make sure that, I show support to the workers are going to really, really literally bust their ass to pick as much as grapes as
We know about that, right?
these people do, even if I'm too old and too lazy to work as hard as they do in the field, to at least show up and show appreciation and make sure they know we care about what they are going to do. So we'll connect. I will take information about the grapes we pick. I will be running back to the winery, meet with Araminta and Henry, and by 10 o'clock, hopefully we will get our first fruit. And they are going to put their boots and their gloves, and they are going to sort grapes.
We love it.
Hopefully they're done. It must be maybe 6 or 7 tons. We'll see what the vineyard is going to give us. But we'll be working with fruit flies, with yellow jackets, lots of pollen around, and it might get hot. And we are going to be infused with sugar and not so glamour grapes things.
Exactly.
I love the feel of grape clusters, sorting them and the texture of them. I love the process of sorting.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go off script for just a second. So we will have people who will see your story and they will say, oh, I've always wanted to have a vineyard, or I always wanted to make wine. What advice would you give to someone who has aspirations to do what you're doing right now? So like top three things.
I'd say run. What are you thinking? What's the matter with you?
Now you're going to use honesty.
Doing a winery in a vineyard is like buying a boat. What they say about boats,
No,
I just love that, because every winemaker, like every vineyard owner is like, run. So I was just wondering if you had like some magic bullet. Oh my gosh.
I would like to be younger, because you need time and energy to do this, and especially time.
Yeah.
And so many things come up. I mean, you're a farmer, you're a manufacturer, you're a food processor, you're a marketer, you're a tax account, you're everything. And it's difficult. It's a lot to do.
No, I think the first thing, you really have to be passionate. If you want to have any kind of payback quick, don't do it. Because it's a long run. I think the passion and the pleasure, it's also by doing as many tasks as you can with your capacity and your willingness. But I think it's just a passion, and the payoff is really, or the payback is really how beautiful it is to craft your own wine and to share that with your friends, family, and people you love, and you guys. But the rewards is really a long term. I think it's the same if we were asking you, what is the rewards to open a wine shop, and how rich you will be in how many.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
And thank you for your transparency about that question. I know I went off script, but I just felt like I hear so many people, oh I have this aspiration. Oh, I want to have a winery, and so I just wanted to have that question answered by the people who have boots on the ground doing it every single day. Kind of what your day is like, and what it takes. It takes a lot of heart.
And
And
Well,
passion.
it helps to have a 4,500 bottle wine cellar at the end of the day. I can tell you that.
Yeah, there's some perks to the job now.
things that help.
There's got to be, right?
Yes.
hmm So, well, thank you for your transparency about that.
Yeah. Oh, Araminta, were you sharing something?
I think what helps get us through the day is that there's a nice partnership. If you are going to work this hard, you better work with somebody you trust. You better have a collaborative relationship and be very authentic with individuals. And we're lucky to have that. Our relationship with Tivo has been very good, so we've been very lucky to have that. Several businesses going here at one time. We have the winery, we have a vineyard, we have a bed and breakfast, we have a tasting room.
Wow.
We have my profession, and we have Tivo's profession. Those things we have to manage as a team, and I think you can only do that and be happy in it when you trust the individuals you're working with.
So that's a lot. You have these different businesses. You have your day segmented out. How do you keep it all together? I think it's fascinating. I learned so much from people who have multiple things going on. And I'm totally going off script, Carrie. I just had to ask this question.
I love it when you do that. I'm letting you go, sister. It's the best.
But how do you manage it all? So like when you wake up in the morning and you have this thing ahead of you, because I think we all do. How do you manage it? Do you make a to-do list, or do you keep it on electronic? Or how do you keep all the pieces and all the balls in the air?
So Henry will say he has a wine cellar. That's how he handles it.
Well, we're both Tivo and I are both very OCD, so we track things pretty well. I've started something new that I enjoy doing. It's called a bullet journal. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's a way to get everything organized in one place. And you can just do a straight, stark kind of spread thing on this bullet journal, or you can add some art to it. So it's been fun for me to pull all this stuff together in a fun way. And everything's in one place, so I don't have a bunch of different to-do lists. It's all.
Oh God, me and my to-do list. So this bullet journal. So how do you get started? Tell us about that. I'm just fascinated by this.
Just Google bullet journal, and there's a whole bunch of people out there doing it, and there's forums to talk.
Like I'm doing it right now.
Yeah. There you go.
And Regina, you have to know what else Araminta does on top of everything else. She's got her own career. She still has a job, her own career besides the work in the medical world. And she keeps livestock alive on the property, including 4 rescue tortoises.
One which is laying eggs.
One who's laying eggs
right now.
Oh, wow.
She just bought an incubator today.
Incredible.
Araminta, would you like to share what you just did? You took your tortoise to the vet. She's doctored personally her tortoise's head. This is amazing. She's Superwoman.
Oh, gosh. She is Superwoman.
She gets the S today, Regina, the Superwoman S.
Yeah, you get the S across your chest and your back.
That's right.
And your halo, your crown.
Yeah. You want to tell us about the tortoises, Araminta, that you're...
But my profession was in administration, for hospital administration. I still work at least 8 to probably more like 16 hours a week in ethics. So I'm an ethicist for the institution, for a large institution. And so when COVID came around, we were deeply involved in those decision makings about duty to care, and about scarce resources for people, and developing fair and equitable distribution of equipment. And, you know, who gets what in such pandemics. But here is a place of solace. We have a mountain that's got beautiful trees and stuff on it. We can hike, and we have animals. And most people love our animals. Tebow has one of our goats as his girlfriend. I swear she loves him.
Well,
We won't go into that.
She sees him coming. He always brings her an apple, and so she loves him. Anyway, so we have 4 goats that are useless. They don't do any cleaning of anything because we give them too many. And then we rescue large tortoises, sulcata tortoises. So they're African sperm tortoises.
Mm-hmm.
They get to be up to 200 pounds. They should walk in this.
Wow.
They're in our will. They're going to outlive us, so they're in our will.
Did you leave them the winery?
Yeah.
No. I gotta go get my power cords, guys. Sorry.
So tell them the names, Araminta.
Well, one is Darcel, and Darcel is named Darcel because there's a famous transgender individual in Portland that he
Transvestite, yeah.
transvestite.
He runs a venue where they do shows, transvestite shows. It's called Darcel's, and he's probably 90 years old now. But
Actually,
We love him. Yeah.
But so the vet told us our tortoise was female, but we found out he was a male, and so
Reply.
short of it, he became Darcel.
he
And
kept changing sexes, so.
Couldn't make up his mind.
Right.
Nellie, which is named after Henry's mom, she's probably rolling over in her grave right now. Name her after, and she's the one that is hatching eggs as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Einstein and Darwin as well.
And
Very cute.
Nellie's a teen mother, isn't she? Unfortunately, we've decided she's a teen mother.
Well, they live to be 200 years old, so she's really a baby still.
She's still a baby. Yes,
The
she
baby
is.
mother.
Baby mom.
Well,
It's an interesting place to be. We also have almost 700 lavender plants. So we try to do a lot of giveaways for our lavender, but we make things too, like pillows and stuff like that for lavender, eye pillows and stuff like that.
I cannot wait to visit this place.
oh, you're coming, Regina.
No, I'm definitely coming. And I'm just gonna walk across the street from your house, Carrie,
Yeah.
and just go hang out at the
And Leslie, you too. You know.
I'm going to ask Regina, can I be your assistant?
Leslie, you're absolutely coming with.
Right. Well, our time's coming. Our time's coming.
Yes, it is coming.
So, sister, should we do
I guess
our
we wrap it up. Let people get to dinner. I'm sure you guys are hungry now. It's
Right.
like about dinner time. We've had dinner. We passed that in our space. So yeah, but I just want to thank everybody for your time tonight or this evening and this afternoon in Oregon. And Carrie and I, we have been on this little journey for a little bit now. And so it is fascinating finally to meet my people in Oregon. And she's told me so much about you. And I can't wait to visit. And then Leslie, my partner in crime, she's been such an amazing person. And I just want to thank you guys. And Carrie, I'll turn it over to you for last words.
Well, repeat also what Regina said. And Leslie, I hear all these wonderful things about you and the support that you guys have given each other and that kind of partnership. And I feel that way about the Dundee Wine Library team as well. So I think we're all lucky in the wine community that we all are in that collaborative, supportive environment. And that's really, I'm grateful for that and appreciative, and also appreciative as always, and I say this every episode, for Regina and for how we're opening up our worlds, not only to go from our state, but to go from the West Coast to the East Coast. And I just appreciate you and our journey so much. So,
Yes.
yeah.
So cheers, everyone. Have a lovely evening. Thank you so much for your time tonight. And I cannot wait to come. Leslie and I are going to come together.
Carrie, thank you.
Right.
We'll hold you to it. Thank you so much, everybody.
Right. Good to meet you both.
So much.
Nice. Good night.
Night.